All right, ladies and gentlemen, this special guest comes from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and is currently in his fourth season with the Ottawa 67's, the team that took him 21st overall in the first round of the 2019 OHL priority selection. He won a U18 World Championship gold with Team Canada and was drafted in the fourth round, 124th overall of the 2021 NHL draft by the Nashville Predators. Please welcome Jack Mateer to the BTB podcast. How you doing?
Doing great, guys. How are you guys?
We're doing good. The boys
good
are
enough.
buzzing.
He got it. No. He got a smile. We got a smile out of him, Tim. That
we're
means
rolling.
you did good on the intro. We're rolling.
Yeah, we're rolling. So Jack, what are you up to right now? What's up?
Right now, like tonight?
I guess just like what's been going on the past few days for you.
We played Friday, Sunday at home. Lost to Peterborough on Friday. Beat the Sioux on Sunday, so that was good. Off day Monday, and then back at practice today. So getting ready for next weekend.
Good stuff. Obviously the boys got off to a hot start, 9-0 to start the season. Talk to us about that run that you boys just went on. How was it?
It was great. Obviously, everyone's happy when you're winning, so everything in the room was great. And I think we got lucky a couple times. Had a hot goaltender there for a bit, and obviously the game in Sudbury wasn't going our way for 2.5 periods. So we found a way though. So it was awesome.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and let's dive into that Wolves game because myself and Alex were actually in attendance in that rink, and that game had a bit of everything: a couple fights, a power outage. So run us through that game, Jack. Like being obviously on the ice and involved in that game. How was that game?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, to be honest with you. Third game on the Northern Swings, never easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Sudbury, they got a lot of talent. Like we knew going in that they were going to be buzzing up and down the ice. So, and then you said the power outage. That was pretty crazy. Couple good fights, and then I saw your TikTok after the game about our social media. I was laughing.
Yeah. So I mean, fair play. Like I said, though, like absolute creativity through the roof, and it was so good. Like they nailed it. Did you boys know that meme was coming up before it came out?
Jack did it on the bus on the way home. Man.
On the way there,
he had the camera going.
Yeah. We actually I'm pretty sure we got a new social media team this year because it's totally different than years past. Like we won in Oshawa, and they took the W out of Oshawa, and there was another one with North Bay. We were towing their bus, and it's kind of funny. Like I guess that's the way sports is going, and it's entertaining for fans. So I don't mind it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I know it was unreal. Let's talk about Dave Cameron. So he steps in this year and obviously has had an impact from this start, obviously. How is he as a coach? Like we watched the game. He seems like he is dialed 1,000% of the time, never taken his eye off the play. Like I've never seen someone so dialed in my life. How is Cameron?
Yeah, I think he's so detail oriented, and like you said, he's so dialed and so focused on what he has to do to help our team. So he's been a great coach for us. Even last year, we were a pretty young team, and we still competed with a lot of good teams. So I think that's credit to him and his coaching style, and what he gets out of his players it's always 100%.
Love it.
Let's bring it back, Jack, to the start of your career. How old were you when you first started playing, and how did you really get involved into the sport?
I'd say I was probably 4 years old, just playing on the backyard rink. My dad used to make a massive rink in my backyard, and me and my brother would buzz around out there and play all winter. And then obviously you get into Timbits and Tyke hockey. So
right,
it's probably 4 or 5 years old.
Was there any moment for you that you knew you wanted to pursue this hockey at a professional level? Was there any moment for you that stuck out?
I wouldn't say until I got to the later years of minor hockey, like Bantam. I played up here in Bantam Major, so I was playing minor midget. That's when you start to talk to scouts and stuff like that, and then you get drafted to the OHL. But yeah, it's just you just go with the flow, and I love hockey, so yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, roll with the punches, absolutely. And you did your time in the GNML. This obviously Tom's league.
Yeah.
Tom, how many points? Tom, how many points you put in GNML, bud?
Over 100. Okay, 2 years. I think I had the same amount of points in like both seasons, so I'll just
There you go. How was it playing for the T-Birds? And do you have any specific memories from the G?
Oh, I think just going up to Kappa skating. This is a terrible road trip. Both years, our minor midget team was not very strong. So Kappa skating, I just remember like they had like all 17-year-olds and like had beards and stuff. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
14 years old playing against these guys. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing here? And they were like a pretty good team. Like I feel like that's all they had to do up there. So, they had the rowdy fans, that barn, pretty old barn. I'm like,
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
what am I doing up here? But it was no, I liked playing up north. Still got buddies from Sudbury like McHugh and Mitch Martin and
Yeah.
Giroux and guys like that. So they always had a really good team. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Was it an easy decision for you to play your minor midget year in Northern Ontario? We see a lot of kids now that are moving down south or even out of country. So what really made you stay and decide to stay in Northern Ontario?
Yeah, I kind of had some options to go to Southern Ontario, and I think just already playing a year minor midget, going into my minor midget season, I knew if I played in the Sioux and had a good year, I was probably going to get drafted. So I didn't really care where I went in the draft. I just wanted an opportunity to try out for an OHL team, and it kind of all worked out. I guess I was able to play like power play, PK, play all situations and play a ton. So I think it helped with my development rather than going to a team in Southern Ontario and being a 4 or 5 defenseman and not playing that much.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And again, that year was a great year for you. You had 22 points in 21 games and got drafted by Ottawa. Let's go through draft day. We always like hearing the stories. What was it like for you?
It was pretty chaotic. So I had a bunch of people at my house, probably like 50, 60 people. And before the day before the draft, your agent just kind of goes through every team and what they think of you. So I think the Sioux picked at 17. Obviously, my hometown. I grew up a Greyhounds fan. My dad played for the Hounds, so I was kind of wanting to go there. But then I also, in the back of my mind, I kind of wanted to leave the Sioux and live away when I was 16. So the Sioux at 17, London at 20, and then obviously Ottawa at 21. Those are the 3 teams that I thought maybe I was going to go to in the first round. And obviously the Sioux in London passed, and then Ottawa was a great opportunity for me. And we had a really good team my first year. So that was also good going in.
Yeah, no doubt. And did you have was there any indication that the Sioux was going to take it? Like it was legit right before you got taken. Funny enough, they took Jacob Holmes from who's playing for Suds now. So yeah, was there any indication that the hometown boy would stay?
They were probably one of the last teams I talked to before the draft. So I kind of got the feeling that they weren't that interested in me, which is fine. I mean, Jacob Holmes is obviously a really good defenseman too. So, but yeah, I in the back of my mind, I was still like, oh, maybe they'll pick me, kind of hometown kid. But they went with Holmes, and then Ottawa picked me.
Yeah, the rest is history. Yeah.
How was you mentioned like 50, 60 people over at the house? Like, how was that moment for your whole family and friends to be there for you after you get the call? To me, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah, you get a mix of family and friends. Just like everyone's like holding their breath when the Sioux's picking. They don't pick me. Kind of goes quiet, and then there's actually a delay, so people had it on their phone, and it was faster than on the TV. So
okay,
I saw a guy in the corner on his phone, and he like looked up and he looked all excited, and then it said now selecting Ottawa. So I kind of knew that they were going to pick me, and then obviously the house erupted. My phone was blowing up. I had to like take a call outside because the house is just like screaming and yelling. The GM's on the phone. I'm like, yeah, sorry, I got 60 people in my house yelling and screaming right now.
Oh, that is unreal. I mean, 60 for the OHL. I can't wait to hear about the NHL draft. That's for
Yeah.
sure. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
wait.
Don't
Can't
don't
wait.
fast forward yet. Wait.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Um, how was like moving away for the first time? Obviously, you mentioned you kind of wanted to leave the Sioux at a young age. Like, how was that in the living arrangements for you the first year?
Um, you know, I think everyone always says they have such a good, like, easy time moving away, but for me, it was kind of like difficult. Obviously, I always lived in the Sioux, small
Right.
town, and then I went right to Ottawa, like massive city.
Mhm.
Obviously, I had really good billets, and they
Good.
they have two boys, so it was like a family. So it was kind of like the same feel as my house, and that was all great. But I think just like moving away, the new schedule, practicing every day, you're on the road, you have high school, like it's a lot to take in at the start. But I think by like November, end of November, start of December, it kind of settled in and it was a lot easier. But those first like month and a half, you're just your head spinning. So
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, Ottawa's a great city to go to as well. I mean, there's so much to do. I'm sure you, well, obviously, but yeah, unreal city.
yeah.
Yeah. So moving on now to the U18 championships. I believe that was, you guys were still in the bubble at that time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that was the year the OHL didn't play, and
that's
then
right.
we were in a bubble. Yeah, like no outside contact, getting tested every day and stuff like that.
That's wild. It feels like just a
Yeah,
completely different world.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, your team was loaded. You guys had Bedard, McTavish, Shane Wright, Benny Golge, who we've had on before. I mean, how was it just, having such a star-studded lineup and you guys taking home the championship?
yeah. I think, like you said, so many stars on that team. I think we just knew going into every game that one of those guys was going to have a game and step up. So I don't think we're ever really too concerned about the scoring on our team.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think like Shane Wright had a ton of points, same as Bedard and McTavish. Like when your good guys are good, you have a good chance at winning. So
Mhm. No doubt.
um yeah, it was an awesome experience. So obviously like the bubble, that kind of sucked. And um basically living in a hotel for a month, you don't really like you get outside for basically
That's wild.
recess. Like we used
Yeah.
to go throw a ball around for 45 minutes. But other than that, you're just with your roommate hanging out. I had Dylan Gunther, um, who's a good buddy of mine now. But yeah, other than that, you're just kind of hanging out. You go to practice, come back, and it's long days. I will say that.
Yeah, no doubt.
What Netflix show were you binge watching? You must have had to be doing something to keep busy, or did you guys bring the PS4 in the room?
We didn't have a PS4 in the room. I'm not even sure what I was binge watching at that time, but I like my Netflix, so I probably had a show going at that time for sure.
There you go. Get so what are you buzzing right now?
Right now, I'm watching a little bit of Bloodline. Have you ever watched that?
No,
No.
no.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got some good actors, so I'm watching that. But I like
Okay.
Stranger Things. I like Outer Banks.
Oh
Basically everything on Netflix I've watched at
There you
this
go.
point. Yeah.
Okay. Bloodline. I'll have to make note of that. Unreal. One more question from that championship. Who, like, what team, I guess, did you like playing the most? Like the States, the Russians, I guess, having your first taste of like those types of rivalries. How are those games?
Uh they were good. Honestly, I think the Russian team really was the closest to us, like
Right.
the final game, because I think we blew Sweden out in the
Mhm.
semis. But
yeah.
they had a couple like good players, like Edmondson. He was
Mhm.
a big defenseman, good with the puck. He was a really good player. But yeah, I think nothing like Canada, Russia in the finals was something special.
Yeah, no doubt.
So let's hear this draft day story with Nashville. Obviously, you go round 4, drafted by Nashville Predators, 124th overall. Jack, let's hear this one. Was there 120 people? It's double the amount here. Like,
Well,
run us through
COVID
this one.
times, Tom. Now, COVID times,
Oh,
now,
you
Tom.
know what? Totally forgot about that. Hey, Zoom. Jack
Yes.
sending out 120 Zoom links to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the draft is online, which is kind of
Right. I forgot
kind of
about that, yeah.
tough. Obviously, like you always want to go to the draft. It would have been such a good experience, but um I couldn't tell you how many people were there. I'm gonna say I'm going to say 80 during the draft, and then people stopping in throughout the day, probably 150, 200.
Yeah.
Unreal.
And then I had all my buddies over after at night, but it was crazy. So I'm watching inside with like a suit and tie, because I like when you get drafted, you have to do media right after. And everyone else is outside. They have TVs outside. They set up wedding tents, like the big white wedding tents, because it was raining that day. So everyone's outside. I'm inside just by myself. Sometimes like my parents would come in and check on me, but I'm just watching the draft, and you see so many guys that go, and you're like, oh, like that guy just went, and then you're like, okay, maybe next pick. And then like finally Nashville picked me. Phone starts blowing up. I have to do all the media, and then I kind of had time to celebrate with all like the people that were there, like my family and friends. But it was such a chaotic day. Like you're just talking to people the whole day.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. It must be. That's what's Nashville on your radar. Like, were there any other teams that you thought you might have went to?
Trying to think back now. Nashville, I did have a really good interview with them. But I think I talked to like over 20 teams or 25 teams. So it's hard to pinpoint one
for sure.
But yeah, Nashville, like looking back, it's just such a good city. I don't know if you guys have been there, but if you love country
we've heard
music,
nothing but good things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a big country music guy?
Yeah, love it.
There you go.
That's right in.
Meant to be. To be. Yeah, no doubt.
How was camp? And obviously you go in there and see Nashville for the first time, and run us through like, the nerves, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like you said, you're right in with like the NHL guys. So
yeah, right away.
It's so fast, and those guys are so good with like executing on the ice, and like it's their job, so they have to be right. They take everything so serious, and their preparation before going on the ice and after is crazy. So yeah, just kind of like you just go there and you do your job, keep your head down, and talk to them if they talk to you, and try to pick their brain a little bit, but like you're just kind of keeping your head down, I would say, and just trying to work hard. But yeah.
How was fitness testing for you? Because I from what I heard, other guys at other camps, there's different testing, but how was the fitness testing for you, and did you survive? Well, I'll ask you that one.
Our fitness testing was mostly just jumps and like explosive stuff like that. It wasn't anything
stuff I'd be good at, right, Jack?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like I've heard the same stories you have, like guys doing 5 miles on the assault bike.
Yeah.
At the Torts training camp,
Yeah, the skating tests. So that in Nashville, they only make the NHL guys from the previous season do their skating test, and then everyone else just does like the explosive power and jumping and stuff like that, plyometrics.
Yeah, there you go. And obviously you signed your first big ticket last year. Congrats on that, obviously. But how did that feel, getting that offer and signing that ticket?
Yeah, it happened right after I came back from training camp last year at the end of September. I think it was like the first weekend of the season we played, and then I got a phone call before my first game on Friday, and my agent just said like they're looking to sign you. I'll be in contact in the next couple days. So I told my parents, and everyone was super excited, obviously. And then I signed it, and it became public like I think that Tuesday. So super special. Definitely probably one of my favorite moments so far.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Sure, there's some bigger tickets coming down the line for you, so that we'll see for sure. That's awesome. What's the game day routine looking like for you, Jack? Like, are you a big superstition guy? Like, take us through a game day for Jack Mateer.
Okay, so start off, wake up in the morning, probably around 9:30. This is a home game day. We have to be at the rink for 10:45. We do like power play PK meetings, some video on the other team. And then I come home, I nap, and then I have two of my buddies, Tyler Boucher and Jack Beck. They live up the road from me, literally like 10-minute walk. So go over there. We eat pregame together. Usually 3:00 for a 7:00 game. And then so Jack Beck used to drive with me to the rink. It was just like a superstition because this guy's super like superstitious. So now he's got his car now. He follows me to the rink and we have to take a specific way. Like we can't go on the highway. We have to take the back roads to get to the rink. So it's kind of funny. I just see his Jeep following me the whole way. And
That's awesome.
if he gets caught up at a light, I turn off and turn back on. So he's following me. But that's really my only superstition. I try to park in the same parking spot, but sometimes it's taken. Other than that, I'm not like some guys tie their left skate first or stuff like that.
Gotcha. And what are the tunes like in the room? Who's got the aux and what are you guys bumping?
I'd say I'm it's probably 50-50 me and Boucher.
Okay.
He's more like new rap and I like old rap and like hard rock, like Motley Crue, stuff like that.
Love it. Yeah.
A little bit of electric in there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're 50-50.
Good mix though. Good solid mix.
Yeah, solid mix. On practice days, a little bit of country too.
Nice. Yeah, for
you gotta
sure.
Sprinkle it in.
100%. And do you guys have a specific win song that the boys are bumping at the end of the game?
Right now it is One Dance.
One Dance. Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but
we'll take it though.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And when you guys went obviously 9-0 to start the season, like did you guys how superstitious did the guys get then to keep the streak alive? Was it even more than normal?
Yeah, I don't think anyone even mentioned like say we were like 7-0. No one mentioned the 8th game or the 8th win. No one said a word about that.
Yeah.
But I think we were just playing really good hockey. And at the start of the season, some teams are kind of scrambly. They don't know their systems yet. And I think, like I was talking about before, Dave Cameron kind of dialed us in before we went to NHL camps. And when we got back, even like the younger guys were flying around. So
love it.
I think that's why we're so successful. Yeah,
no doubt. I mean, 10-1 is nothing to shake a stick at. So hopefully you guys keep on rolling. See if you could set a record here. I think does Sioux hold the record for best
I believe so.
Season? Yeah.
17 or 16.
So, it was wild. But it'd be cool to see something like that. How are the off seasons for you? Like in the Sioux, are you spending a lot of time in the Sioux, Jack, and who you really working with in your off seasons?
Yeah, I spend all summer in the Sioux basically, other than I had development camp in Nashville and Team Canada camp in Calgary. But other than that, I was in the Sioux the whole summer. I trained with a guy named Aiden Wright, played at Lake State.
Okay.
He's a fireman now, so I train with him. And then in my group, I have Colin Miller and Stephen Bellini. He's I don't know if you guys played against Stephen. He's
I did. Oh yeah, he's a good player.
It's me. It's just us three working out, and then our skates have like all the OHL guys and Brian Rust, Mike Amadio, Blake Spears, like Keegan Stevenson, Cole McKay, all those guys.
Macker, Macker mixing it in. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, Macker.
Yeah, unreal. Good stuff.
I got one for him, Chim. I want to Jack, who would you say has had the biggest impact so far on your career success? Like, who would you say your role model to this point is?
I'd say definitely my dad. He used to coach me when I was like young, playing rep in the Sioux. He kind of taught me the fundamentals of defense. So that's why I am a defenseman. He was a defenseman. So
gotcha.
But still to this day, like if I ever need anything, I could just call him and talk to him. Is he
hard on you on games that don't play the greatest? Is he calling you on the bus and you're like hitting the decline button right away?
No, my dad is like the most laid back guy. Like I think if I told him I was quitting hockey tomorrow, he wouldn't say anything. He would just be like, okay, cool, do whatever makes you happy.
There you go. Good stuff. And obviously, I'm sure a special moment with your family too was your first game back in the Sioux. What was it like coming back and playing in GFL Memorial Gardens?
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. So I played there my first year actually.
Yeah,
Um, it was pretty chaotic. Like I was just like happy to be in like the lineup, obviously. All my family and friends were there. And then I think this year was a little more enjoyable. Like obviously you're
Mhm.
older, a lot more confident playing with the puck and stuff like that. And then this year, I don't know if you guys saw, it was a 15-round shootout.
Yeah, insane.
No one
Yeah,
scored for 15 rounds.
yeah,
So it was like the perfect game. Like it was awesome. It was probably
yeah.
one of my best games that I've played in. So really enjoyable for me.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's a real good barn. Did the boys stay in the Delta in the Sioux?
Yeah, the Delta right on the
Classic.
water.
Yeah,
Staple. Yeah.
Yeah.
staple. Yeah, yeah,
Best
good
hotel
stuff.
in the OHL.
No doubt. I could only imagine some of the places the boys stay. That's sick. Um, what's your thoughts on playing in the Wolves barn? You know, there's obviously a big debate going around for as long as the tail is gone. What the Wolves rink? How have you like playing in the barn?
Oof. I think it's might be the worst away barn in the ring in the whole OHL. But
Yeah,
like obviously I bet if you talk to every one of the Wolves players, they probably love it, right? So like
yeah.
it's just like your home games, you feel for it. But yeah, going in there, it's the locker rooms are so small. It's always freezing cold.
So old school.
I
Yep,
don't really
yep.
like the lighting in there.
I know, I
There's
know.
no
Man.
room behind the nets. So it's just
Uh,
it's kind of miserable. Yeah.
yeah. I love it. I love it. And do the boys hate the wolf on the wire? Like, is it a talking point in the room? Like, I know you boys obviously killed us with the meme, but yeah, is it a talking point at all?
I think just the guys that are coming into the league, they first
Yeah.
see it and then they're like, holy, what is that thing? But like, yeah, you just kind of got to explain it to them and like talk them through it. But like, it is pretty cool. I would say you got to
Yeah.
keep that at the next rink because they're
Yeah.
planning on building one, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a whole thing going on. You know, we'd have to sit down and I'll have to give you the whole story one day. But it's an absolute disaster. Is what we'll call it right now. See, the Sioux was able to figure it out. They knocked down SR Center. They put up GFL like nothing. Here's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Chimino's running for mayor here, Jack, if you didn't know. So
No, maybe one day. Are you a big golfer, Jack?
I used to be like big into golf, but once I
Yeah.
started playing the OHL, I don't really golf that much. Probably get out 3-4 times this summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's the game those 3-4 times?
It's ugly. I think by
Yeah.
about hole 14, I'm basically giving up, just trying to have fun out there. But
There you go.
tough to stay
Awesome.
positive.
Awesome. You
Yeah.
isn't your brother a big golfer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he used to be really big into golf, but he's the
Yeah.
same as me. He's kind of like gotten away from it in the last couple of years. But yeah, and
Gotcha.
he's good golfer, really good golfer.
Yeah.
Little lefty.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, Jack, before we let you go, we got our fast five here. So we got 5 rapid fire questions. Whatever comes to the top of your head, let it rip. So I'll send it over to Tom here to take you through the ringer.
okay, first question I got for you. Dream travel destination. Anywhere in the world, where do you want to go?
Italy.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Motherland. I love it.
Okay. I know we talked about it earlier, but favorite show on Netflix or favorite movie?
Favorite movie. I'm going Shawshank Redemption.
Nice.
Whoa.
Classic. Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite OHL memory so far?
Scoring my first goal.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I know we obviously went through this one as well during the interview, but who was your first phone call after you found out you got drafted to the NHL? I know you had a lot of family there, but
Probably one of the most like memorable ones right after is like obviously my buddy Jack Beck FaceTime me and we talked for a while. Just like
that's
obviously
awesome.
I just met him when I was 16, but you're so close to your teammates and being with him every day, it was kind of special to talk to him.
Love that.
Yeah. No doubt.
And last one, your favorite restaurant in the Sioux?
It's tough one. There's a lot of good Italian places. I'm gonna go for Telly's.
Oh
Yeah. Classic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything.
yeah.
Yeah. No doubt. Love it. Awesome. Well, Jack, listen, thanks so much for coming on the pod and chatting with us. Again, hope you guys put up a record-setting season. Love to see a Sioux boy take home some hardware. So again, best of luck. Congrats on all the success, and we'll see you in the show someday. And obviously, we'll keep in touch. So again, thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Awesome.